What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Podcast. Yeah, we're in a different spot today.
Yes.
We're vibing in the wind. I feel all majestic. like Jack.
Therapeutic. It's therapeutic for
Jack and what's the girl from Titanic?
Rose.
Rose. Like Jack and Rose. I feel like I'm flying, Jack. Don't let go. Alrighty, I have my little preamble. Oh, as the train goes by.
Yep. I think this is okay. Yeah.
So today, we're talking about a couple great things. Mainly, well, I get into that.
I love it.
So here's my monologue. Ready? We've
Ready.
all been there. You meet someone and it's electric. You're texting too much, thinking too much, craving them when they're not around. But here's the question. Is it lust or is it love? Or are you just addicted to the way they make you feel? Today on Oddly Juicy, we're pulling apart the difference and asking, do people even know what they're feeling? Or are we all just faking it until someone breaks our hearts?
Fake it till you make it, baby.
So, that's a nice little warm-up for you to get you in the spirit of the game.
Yes.
Can you remember a time you swore it was love, and now you know it was just lust?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No hesitation on
No
that.
hesitation, just
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've had my fair share of like obviously back when I was younger, I've had my fair share of that where it's like you figure that it's somebody that you actually really love and the butterflies are like, all of those emotions are happening, and then all of a sudden it's just like you get those icks and whatever and you let those icks slide. But then you're realizing it's more like a crush type of thing, right? So you're more like, okay, I like the feeling of the hi, how are you, the good mornings and all of that stuff, and like the touchy-feely, but it's more like, okay, so you're vibing, like you have the same energy, but in reality, when you I stepped back and I was like, it was more of a lust thing for me, because it was more like, I liked the feeling that it was giving me, but I didn't feel deeply like pouring out my heart and soul to that person. Do you know what I mean?
I remember, yeah, like I would just be like, my summation of that would be, I want you,
Yes.
but I don't want to go to dinner with you.
Yeah, I felt like that. Like I liked when we were at school and like you would like do all those things, but the minute like you left school, it's like, I don't need to talk to you. I don't want to see you till like the next day. I'm cool like that.
It.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's like that connection and that human interaction is good for the moment, and you enjoy the physicality of that. But then, yeah, like I don't care to go out and chat with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think after a while, like obviously the lust will fade off, right? So as quickly as it's a whirlwind, it'll go right back out.
Yep.
And I think that it's because a lot of times people seem to be vibing on the same wavelength and have the same mentality. But then really you got to step back and look like, is this because we're in this moment together and we're sharing these experiences together, and you're understanding where I'm coming from, I'm understanding where you're coming from, but is it something that could potentially be something? You know what I mean? And I'm not talking friends with benefits, situations. I'm talking about like a bona fide like relationship with somebody. And if you're feeling that, no, I can take parts of you, I don't need to talk to you, I don't need to see you, I don't need to feel you, I don't need to feel your touch, then that is possibly lust, because you're more thinking of the feeling at that moment, but you're not wanting to delve into 3 months down the road, 4 months down the road with that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not really worried. You're not calibrated on the commitment part.
Yes.
You're just kind of like existing in the moment.
Yep, 100%.
What's your biggest red flag that it's lust pretending to be love?
I've had this conversation with you. I want to marry you. We should
Oh
move
God!
in together.
Oh God!
I want you to have my baby.
Right, saying all the.
I want you. Love bombing. That is lust 1,000%
Because it's
for
like,
me.
I don't care what I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell you whatever I can tell you.
Because
just
you
to
want
get
to
in,
hear it.
just to get in Japanese.
Yeah, yeah. And that is a big ick, which should have been one of my icks, and also like a red flag. Because it's like, yo, I come up to these guys, and these guys are like, you start talking to them, and all of a sudden it's just like, I want you to have my baby. I want you to go on with, like, I want you to have nothing. Like, we're going commando, like, we're going bareback. Bareback? I don't even fucking know you. How the fuck am I going bareback? And you want me to have my kid, your kid? And this one person was like, we should get a house together. We were dating for like a couple of months. I looked at him like, huh? I'm like, our kids haven't even met each other yet. That's not right to put, 5, 6 kids in one home, and like they don't even know shit about each
Right.
other.
They're just living he's living in the
fairy tale.
This would be
Yes.
so amazing. And meanwhile, you're just like, okay, if we actually look at the practicality, now, from the man's perspective, are you? How do I put this? Does it trigger a response? Does it do what they're trying to do?
No.
So like, if you're having like that intimate moment, and he's like, I want you to have my baby. Do you feel like the motherly instinct flare up in you?
No.
No, you don't. Oh,
No.
it's just like straight up like, what the fuck?
I straight up said to this man, I'm like, how's that? Looked at this man and said, are you serious? I had the what the fuck look, and my what the fuck look. And I was like, what are you talking about? Where in this city? We have to live outside of the city. Are we going to get a 6-bedroom house? And who's going to pay for that?
Right.
And
You're like all in the rational, like
hell
that would never
I
work.
stopped that dead in the tracks, and I'm like, and you want me to have your baby? Who's taking care of this baby? Don't worry, I'm going to help you. What are you talking? You're going to have sleepless nights with me? No way. Somebody's got to have to work. No way. I'm not going back to that. So no, right dead in that tracks, I was like, pump the brakes. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
This was all like lust. It was nice to hear that, but certain things of like the love bombing lust, I knew right away.
Right. All like, it's nice because you're hearing commitment.
Yes.
They're telling you commitment. It's not actually doing any commitment. It's just pretty words.
Yes.
But it's just like, oh, maybe this isn't just the surface level lust. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what if it was a rich dude?
Stop.
What if it was a guy with so much money and it was like every word, it was like fully intentional? Because I'm curious about this. If it was actually practical. Like if he was like, I wanna marry you, I wanna put a baby in you right now, and you're like, oh, but our kids haven't met, and he's like, that's no problem. Let's do dinner tomorrow with them. And you're like, oh, okay, well, like, where are we gonna live? And he's like, nope. Where do you want to live? I can buy wherever.
You're asking if that would change my mind perspective?
Well,
if
yeah.
It was no.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
If all your logistics could, you'd
Nope.
still be like, let's pump the brakes.
Yes, let's do that because, again, money makes the world go round. But in all honesty, for me, as a woman, no, I wouldn't. I don't care how much money you have, what you can provide, the world, the oysters. I don't care. The fact of the matter is, it's like, it's too fast for me.
Okay, so
I need the time to get to know
that's what I was.
you.
Right. Okay, so that's what I was getting to. Is it a matter of logistics, or is it that logistics are a way of saying, hey, we're doing this too fast?
Yeah.
It's like, and essentially that's what you're doing. You're saying the guy's like, oh, let's have a baby. We can move in together. All our kids can live together. And you're like, well, our kids haven't met. Where would we live? How would you help me? And all these are pointing to the fact that it's like, we haven't seen each other enough. So our kids haven't been familiar with each other. I don't know if you can provide or that you would care and be a partner. And I don't even know if you have the means because I don't know so little about you.
Yes.
And so that's kind of interesting because
Yes.
it's like, boys, men, remember that. When you're a woman, when you say something to your woman and she goes, oh, well, like, this is this and this is this, just remember that you haven't reached that point in your relationship. And there's something more that has to happen. Now, it could just be a logistical aspect. Like, if you're like, hey, babe, fly out and come see me. Or let's go to this place together. And she's like, oh, no, I have work. That might just be a matter of money and commitment to work and everything. That's fine. But if you're like, let's move in together. And she's like, I don't know. Like, how is that really going to work? Where are we going to live? Just know you're not at that provider level yet.
Yeah.
And that's something to work on.
Yeah, I definitely agree because I feel like there's just too many people that move way too quick.
Yep.
And I feel like when that happens, the whole dynamic, the whole feeling of it really isn't exactly what it is.
Yep.
It's all surface level. That's how I see it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Now, we're talking about red flags.
Yes.
And you said at the beginning, you said you've ignored a lot of red flags when it comes to the lust aspect. What about lust makes you ignore the red flags?
I think it's because as women, relationships fail. People that you meet, you realize they're not like for you for whatever reason. So I think I like hearing those nice sweet nothings. I like that fairy tale idea of what you have. And it makes me ignore those red flags.
And especially like the sparkle at the beginning of a relationship.
Yes.
Or what is it called? The rose-tinted glasses.
Yes.
It's all like, the beginning of a relationship is a really, really beautiful point. Because you're both coming so somewhat authentically. But I'll say you're both very authentic about your emotions. They're hot. You're hot. You're heavy. You want to be together. Everything about you is like, I'll overcommit. Dinner, $400, no problem. Oh, this, going out, doing this, buying you things, no problem.
Yeah.
It's like the material values, the emotional values, the physical values, everything is like 1,000%.
Yes.
And then the problem is that afterwards, it's not that it drops down, but it equalizes and normalizes.
Yes.
And then you have to reevaluate, and you're like, okay, well, that was fun for 3 months. Now we actually have to look and be like, okay, what's practical moving forward? Like, I can't take 5 days off work to go do this vacation. I could do for the moment or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, everybody loves that emotion.
Yes.
And so in a lustful aspect, you may not need be necessarily connected with somebody for a relationship aspect, but if you're in that energy and in that fire, oh boy, everybody's full speed ahead. Let's rock it and let's roll it.
Yeah.
And especially if, like, I find too that lust really hits people heavy when they're kind of going through relationship turmoil or just went through relationship turmoil. I mean, as the saying goes, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone. and that's when it's like you're craving for that human connection. And like, say you've been out of a relationship for 5 years, or you got into a relationship, it was like 5 years, 10 years, or even just 2 years, a year, a couple months. It's like you get used to having that person, and then that connection gone, separated. Now you're by yourself. And so I find a lot of people are like, I don't like this about you and this about you, and you're a bit too sure, and you're a bit too this, and you're a bit too that, and you talk a little bit too much, and you're a bit of a bitch, and you're a bit of this. But I don't care, because we're in this kind of situationship lose state, and I'm okay with that because.
But again, that's ignoring red flags.
Yeah.
Those are boundaries that you have had previously.
Yeah.
And you're breaking those boundaries down. We've talked
just
about
because.
that. Yeah, we've talked about it in other podcasts where it's like, yeah, you have these boundaries, but then you meet and then it's just like you said, it's hot, heavy. Everything is like, yeah, you're vibing and you're getting it on, you're having sex, you're doing whatever, and you're feeling all those feelings. But then those boundaries just like break down. And really and realistically, they really shouldn't. Red flags are there for a reason. Boundaries are there for a reason for both parties, right? And to be respectful. And I understand it. People get in the heat of the moment all the time, right? So that's why I'm saying it's like the red flags always for me, I ignore. And it's bad of me, and I really shouldn't ignore them. Like, cuz I know it's not good for me what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you're in that moment and you're like, I don't give a shit. Like I'm going to ride with this.
It's kind of interesting too, because like when you're in those situations, you like as you become more aware of yourself, as you look into the void, you start to understand more about yourself. And in those situations, you start to have like, I know I always have these moments of like, not now because I'm in a relationship, thank fucking God. But like before, there was always these moments where I'm like, I know I could do this extra thing, or I could say this extra thing and enhance that lust, that affection. but then you step back and you're like, or you see yourself stepping into it. You had a good night at dinner, went for drinks after, bada, and you see it in the moment, but all those red flags pile up, and so it's kind of like this almost out of body experience.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, we'll protect your ears for a moment. There's like this out of body experience that happens where you're like sitting there and you see all the moments aligning and you know exactly what comes next.
Yep.
But then it's almost like the Doctor Strange, and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
You know that your vision is all blurry, but then it comes sharp for a moment, and you realize, oh my God, that's not roses behind them. That's just a field of red flags.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. Definitely.
All right. How do you tell the difference between lust and love? Is it like a body versus mind kind of thing, or?
I think for me, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
It's my body and my mind. As I was just saying, it's like you like all those things. You like the feeling of being wanted, being needed, hearing those sweet nothings and whatever. But I think after a while of being in so many different relationships, you start to pick up and realize what cannot be true, for the most part, right? Whereas love is like you can feel the genuine feeling of it, like hardcore.
Right, your body's
yeah.
just more dialed into.
Yeah, and it feels right. Like you're not second guessing things. You're not questioning things. You know what they're saying is actually what they're really feeling. For me, if I question something about what somebody has said, that to me is like, I'm not sure how you really feel about me. Like, you say you like me. How do you like me? What do you show to me that you like me? You know what I mean? And it's just like, when I start sometimes questioning those things, I'm really wondering, like, is this more like of a lust for both parties or me or whoever? Or do you actually really genuinely love me? You know what I mean? Because everybody can throw those words around and like those feelings around. But again, after experience, you know the difference. Like you should know for yourself. You know what I mean? Like what you know is lust for somebody.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always felt that I have a very good alignment with when I'm interacting with somebody, like I'm in a romantic relationship or a romantic endeavor, we'll call it. I've always feel like I've been really dialed in on what that kind of relationship dynamic is,
yes,
and whether it's following the pathway of we're just mutually attracted to each other, and that's why we're interacting, or it's like, oh, we actually do resonate on some level, and there's that sparkle, that soul connection, whatever way you want to visualize it or say it is.
Yeah.
I always feel like I've been very in tune with that, and so I've always, even if I don't want to face it or I don't want to accept that, oh, that's the truth,
yep,
I feel like I've always unconsciously known that answer and known like that kind of timeline.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what, I'll enjoy this for the next month, but I know that after that, that'll be it.
So you know the difference. So for you, is it both your mind and the way that you're feeling that you know the difference?
Well, the best way, and it's funny, I have a conversation like years ago. I had a conversation with my buddy, and we were talking about how there's like the difference between liking a girl and loving a girl, mm-hmm, is that we're looking for this like fire in the eyes.
Yes.
And that's what he goes, yeah, I'm just looking for this fire in the eyes. And what I came to realize after thinking about what he was saying in our conversation, I was like, oh, what he's referring to is connection.
Yeah. He's
not referring to like a sparkle at a certain angle or just some physical attraction. He's talking about like, I see your soul. Mm-hmm. Like I see who you are as a person, mm-hmm, and that ignites my soul. And so that's what he was talking about. He was talking about the connection, if you want to visualize it even more, from Hotel Transylvania. The zinging, I think it's called. They call it zinging.
Yes.
What a zing, bada bang, bada bang. It started with the zing. Yeah, no, I think it's that, and that's what he was talking about. And so it's interesting always reflecting on reflecting on more wisdom and more experience.
Yes.
When you're like, oh, the fire in the eyes, that sparkle in the eyes he was talking about, he's not talking about, oh, her eyes were super pretty. He's talking about, oh, I see you as a soul.
Yes.
I don't see you as a sack of meat that I'm attracted to. I see you as a soul that I'm connected to.
Yes.
And so I always reference that when I'm like, oh, do I see that? No, I don't see that. I see that we're here, we're talking, but we're not communicating at a deep understanding where I see you and you see me.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I would say is the big distinction between love and lust, and that comes from a combination of body and mind.
Yes.
Because mind is rationalizing it, but body is feeling it. And sometimes your mind, your rationalization can fail.
Yes.
Because you don't know, there's something the heart tells you, your gut tells you, your heart tells you that your brain just sometimes isn't dialed into.
That's what I'm saying. It's like whenever I'm out on a date or I'm talking to somebody, I told this guy today over the phone, I left a message. I'm like, when I talk to you, I feel good. I feel like at ease, at peace. It's easy to talk to you. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying it's like your body has reactions to people, to lust or love. Your body will tell you. And those reactions is, again, are you ignoring those red flags? If it's draining for you talking to somebody and being with somebody, and after you're done a date or you're together or whatever the case may be, if you're drained by the time that is over, that's your body telling you, it's giving you signs.
Drained, and also I find that the human body has reactions to people that are compatible and not compatible
100%.
with you.
1000%.
The way you sleep, the way you eat, the way you interact,
Yep.
how your stress, your cortisol levels, everything. Like when you're with somebody who you genuinely are connected with and love, your body vibrates and shimmers in a specific way. Your skin looks better, your outlook is better, life is just a little bit better, and nothing changed other than just that person being there.
That's right.
So this gets into a really good, really interesting
The next
point.
segue, yeah.
Have you ever been in love with someone you didn't even really like?
Yeah, it's weird because it's like you definitely, like I said, you initially meet them, and it starts off. Most people start off as friends, right? You're talking, whatever. Then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I'm starting to like kind of have feelings. Especially if you're seeing and talking to somebody daily. Maybe not seeing somebody every day, but you're talking daily, and you're talking like in-depth conversations because you can feel at ease when you're talking to them, right? Like you feel like, okay, you understand me, you get me. This happened to me last year and I thought that it was that person. Like I thought that this is great, but at the end of the day, there was a little bit of lust, there was a little bit of love, but I have felt that where it's like, okay, I actually really genuinely do care for you. Like I actually do, want to like see where this goes, and hopefully it's like a potential like long-term relationship or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This gets into an interesting conversation, right? Because like love can show itself in many forms.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid, and I think this is like just like a societal training. This is like kind of how the world teaches you. It's like when you're in love with somebody, it has to be romantic love. And as you get older, what you realize is you can have love for people, and it's not romantic love. It's platonic love, it's friendship love, it's brotherly love. There's many different forms of love for people. And I mean, I don't think I've ever been in love with someone I don't like. I have a really hard time doing that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
It would kill me. But there's been people who I have love for that I didn't necessarily like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was a trainer that I had, right? He was my power skating coach, and fuck, I hated his ass. I hated him so much because he would skate us until we puked. Like he would skate us hard. But it was just, that was love. Yeah. Because sure, it's not love in the moment when we're fucking horking ourselves up in the buckets. And the rule, if we played really bad, the rule was that we're not allowed to get off the ice until we puke.
Oh wow.
So we'd skate until we puke.
Okay.
Borderline abusive, but that's okay.
Not really okay. But
different time.
Yeah.
No, but his whole thing is, I remember when I did the last training camp with him.
Yeah.
And I remember he just like gave me a hug, and he's like, like I wish you all the best in life and everything, and just know that I really appreciate your time here, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this is like, that was his way. Like, I didn't like him.
Yes.
I knew that he would fucking skate my ass, and he would make me hurt.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Yes.
But that was his way of showing love to the next generation.
Yes.
Is like, I want to make you better by doing something hard.
Yes.
And yeah, I may be an asshole, but I still have love for you guys, and I do want you to be the best. And thank God that wasn't romantic love, because that would be strange. But it's like things like that where you're like, oh, people do care.
Yes.
They do love you, and you love them, but you might not necessarily like their interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like a boss always pushing you to do more work, be better, do it stronger. You're like, oh, fuck that person.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, and you move to a new company or you're leaving, they might be like, I really enjoyed the time, and thank you for always stepping up to the challenge, because I always knew that you could do it. And then you're like, oh, like, it's kind of fucked up that you did that, but at the same time,
there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, they saw your potential,
Yes.
and you know what? Maybe it's okay, and you understand a bit more that they were just showing you some level of love.
Yes.
So, all that to say, yes.
In a roundabout way of Nason's world.
Yes. Oh, okay. Here's a really interesting one.
Okay.
There's this is kind of a two-parter.
All right.
Do you think people confuse? We can do it separately.
Sure.
Do you think some people confuse being desired with being loved?
Yes.
1,000%. 1,000%.
There's no hesitation on that.
No,
yes.
no, because it's
everyone wants to feel desired.
everybody, and
Everybody does.
Yes. Because part of being in a relationship is like really being dialed into like, this person loves me, and feeling that desire.
Right.
And so this is it. OnlyFans works so well. Yes, because whatever, the dudes and the women, whoever's buying, they get what they want from an attractive person or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like, yes, they're making money, and they'll tell you money is the reason, but I don't think that the person doing the OnlyFans necessarily cares about the money.
Correct.
And 100%. They do. I know a lot of...
To a degree.
Yeah. I know a lot of OnlyFans, not personally, but I've seen a lot of interviews where they're like, oh, I was so broke, and then I did this, and then I had so much money, I didn't know what to do with it.
Mm.
And yes, money's great, but I also feel like the hook and what makes it like almost like a sickness, even girls and guys posting on Instagram like these thirst traps and all this shit, it's like, is that desire. And I think that's why social media inherently blew up.
Yes.
Is because it's all focused on that desire to be seen, understood, and heard, and that you actually matter on this big rock floating in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I think everybody wants to be desired and loved, for sure. Like I've always told people that I'm with, partners, it's like, I want to feel needed. I want to feel wanted. I want to feel that human touch from you. Because when you don't feel that, it makes that person feel like, is there something wrong with me? And is there something I'm not giving in this relationship or this friendship that you are expecting of me, right? So there's expectations. There's all these things that are overlap.
It's okay, Natalie.
You just fucking did that. No, bro. That I don't like. That's not.
Did you see her trauma flared up there?
We're dating, and that's what you're doing. It's okay.
It's okay. Nice
yeah,
to
that's
see
a
you.
fucking friend ass move. Fuck that. No.
Oh.
But I'm just like, yeah, the desire is always wanted. Like, people crave desire. People crave human touch. People crave being praised, and like, not pedestal type, but like, I really do like you. Like, I like you. I like you. I love you. Like, I love this about you, or whatever. That craving for desire and love is important, and I think that there are times when those can overlap.
Yeah.
And I think that is sometimes can be a problem for some people, right?
There's that, if they being desired and being loved, they kind of like, it's like a Venn diagram. There's like that little crossover.
Yes.
So you don't get the full emotion.
Yes.
It's like dopamine, right? You run a marathon, you finish it, you do well, your dopamine flares up. It's like, oh yes, I feel good.
Yes.
You can get that same dopamine hit from scrolling on Instagram or going to the casino, and it's simulating that dopamine hit of doing something hard and something challenging and coming out on top, but it's not necessarily the best way to emulate that.
Yeah, I agree.
Can lust turn into love?
Absolutely. I think
absolutely.
anything is possible.
I think what has to happen, though, in that circumstance is very specific. The best example I can have for this one, as I wrote out this question, I was like, oh, this is kind of really interesting. Lust.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, guy, love each other. Or I say love each other. Lust each other.
Mm-hmm.
They get freaky. They're like, oh, you're so good. You're so great. Meet you at a club, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then they continue to be friends with benefits, or
Yes.
just like in that kind of weird loose state where they're not really using each other for anything other than like sex and like casual going out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's one day they had too much to drink. They're both kind of tired, so they're just like laying there, not in the bedroom or laying there under. Like I like to put it in a field looking at the stars. 'Cause
Right.
That's how they ended up. They were at like a big barn party, we'll call it, a
Okay.
kegger out in the field, and so
Okay.
they're laying by themselves. The party's kind of in the distance. You can hear the music echoing, and they're kind of laying there. And then one of them opens up about something. Maybe the girl opens up about her dreams and aspirations and who she wants to be as a person. And then the guy kind of dials into that, and he starts talking about the world. And they realize, oh, there's like a whole other person here that I haven't even thought about. And we both were kind of in this weird trauma state where we were protecting that because we mutually just liked each other's attraction. But now that we're comfortable with each other, we're talking about this. And now I see you as an individual, and boom.
Yep.
You're zinging. You're
Yeah.
zinging. Or
Yeah.
you're zinning, little upper deck.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I've been through experiences where it was lust at first, and then it ended up being like love, right? Because it's, again, you're going through the same traumas, whatever, situations, circumstances, and then you're realizing that you're really vibing with this person. You're really understanding them, and they're understanding you, right? And as you're getting to know them, you're realizing like, yeah, a lot of your views, they align with what is happening right now, and you can resonate with each other. But it's not only that, but like sometimes there's also that sexual tension between people when you're lusting, right? Because your mind is like, what if I just leaned in and kissed him? Like, how would he react to that?
What if I just like...
Yeah. Take a bite out of you.
What if I just devour you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think with lust, there's a lot of that mental, what if I just did this move? How would they react? Would they cringe? Would they like flinch? Would they whatever? But most of the time, if you're lusting, you know that person's, you can feel it. That you can feel vibrations between people, energy between two people. Like you can absolutely feel that. And I think a lot of the times, yes, like I said, lust can definitely, most definitely, hands down, turn into love. There's no question about that. No question. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do you think people today are afraid to admit that they're mostly just chasing lust?
Yes.
You think that's scary?
Do I think it's yes?
Do you think that it's scary that people don't even realize this?
Yes.
They are real. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely do, because I feel like a lot of people go off emotion, right off the bat. It's just emotion, and a lot of times that emotion can be just because you've just been talking to somebody for a few days, and it's refreshing. It's somebody new, right? And I think that it's definitely like the fine line of what people consider lust can be very blurry for a lot of people, and they don't know what that definition is. Hence why I ask when I get to know people and I'm vibing with them and I'm asking them certain questions like, what does this word mean to you? Because it's like you have to understand everybody's perception of a word is going to be completely different than what your version is and what my version is, right? So I think people don't know what the definition is for lust for some people, because they're just so in the heat of the moment. Like a lot of it is moment. You're going by the moment and by the feels, and I think it's like the only way to distinguish between lust and love is to go out on a date, go out for a coffee, see what the vibe is like. You know what I mean? See if it's a potential something that can happen, if there's a spark, because sparks happen because you're lonely or you don't have anybody, or the person you're with is not compatible with you. Then all of a sudden you're meeting somebody out of the blue that you maybe have not known, or you have known, but you just never talked on that level before. And now all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is a zinger. a zinger moment. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, then it becomes, is this lust or love? Right? Or am I feeling something that is just because you're just there? So the only way to explore that, like I said, is to actually like take that step and be like, okay, let's go for a drive. Let's go out and talk. Let's, you know what I mean? See what is happening between the two of us.
Yeah. This world, I think, has really, for lack of better words, fucked people up.
Yeah, especially with COVID.
Well, COVID,
Yeah.
social media,
Yes,
just
that too.
like even the dating apps. I mean, how great that you can connect so many people with so many people.
Correct.
But it's a double-edged sword. Yes, it's great, but at the same time, you've made the options pool endless. And I know lots of people right now who are just jumping from person to person to person and being like, wow, I'm so lonely at the end of the day, even though I interact with so many people. And it's just because they're not looking and doing the steps that result in a healthy, long-lasting relationship. They're just like, let's dial it up and jump to stage 5 and pretend we're playing house and we're happy.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like, no, you gotta push the boulder up the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just pick up a rock and at the middle point of the mountain and be like, oh, look, we made it this far, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are just dealing with a lot internally that they haven't properly dealt with, and the best way to cover that up is a relationship. Or people always tell you relationship instead of working on yourself or going out with friends.
But a relationship that's not fair to that other person, because a relationship, quote unquote, is just a band-aid to mask everything that you're feeling and not dealing with. You know what I mean? And healing yourself before moving on to like venturing with somebody else.
And then this is what it's almost like a disease the way it passes, or a sickness, right? Because we go out on a date, I'm fucked up, I'm using this as just a band-aid to cover my own issues because I want to feel desired and feel loved and feel all the things without having the commitment of what a relationship actually takes.
Right.
I go out with you, you're like, oh, I'm so into this guy. Oh, we're going to make this work. Life's going to be so good. And then I just end up hurting you. Well, now you're fucked up.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next guy, and then you fuck him up.
Exactly it.
And then we're all fucking everybody else up. And it's like this endless
Ripple effect, yeah.
of like everybody dumping their trauma onto the next person, right?
That's why I say when you're doing things like that, you have to, there is a level of men and women that are going to be jaded when you meet them.
Oh,
so
yeah.
don't fucking tell me. I've had people say, oh, Natalie, why are you like this? Why are you so, angry and whatever? And I'm like, no. Did somebody hurt you? Yeah. Fuck yes. I've been hurt. I'm going to be straightforward and honest with that person. Be like, yeah, I've been fucked over. So no offense. If this is the way that I react to what you've said to me or what you've done to me, there's obviously a reaction to that because men and women fuck each other up all the time. It happens, right? Especially in relationships, and then they go and become jaded because of the previous relationship, whatever the case may be. So it's like, that's why I tell people, come at people honestly. If you have an intention and your intention is to just fuck me, just tell me you're gonna fuck me. Make it the man or the woman's choice to decide whether they want to
come at people correct. Come at people correct. It's amazing how life becomes so much easier when you tell people what you really want.
Yeah.
Don't play the game. Don't be like, oh, if I say these 2 sentences, I hope they read the middle. It's like, or in between them.
No, be fucking blunt about it.
Just be blunt about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want a relationship. I'm not interested in that. I just want somebody who I can have sex with, or I don't even want that. I just want somebody who I can go out to dinner with.
Yeah.
And just tell people, because then when you set expectations right off the get-go, maybe it evolves, but they're not expecting it to evolve.
Yes.
And it's peaceful that way, because you and that person are like, okay, I know that when I go out with this person, all we're doing is we'll do dinner and a movie, or dinner and drinks, or dinner and something. We're just like intellectually compatible, and so we'll enjoy each other in that way.
Yeah.
Which could just be a friendship, but maybe it's more romantic than that. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Lust bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you my little outro monologue. So what do you think? Have you ever been so deep in lust you thought it was love? Or been in love and wished it felt more like lust? DM us, drop a comment, or better yet, Send us a voice note confessing your lust versus love moment. And remember, one leaves you dizzy, the other stays when the high wears off.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, so we got Instagram. You guys can DM us on Instagram. We got the YouTube channel. You guys can comment.
Yes.
And I believe you can have access to our email. So you guys can also, you should have access to our email on YouTube. If you click reach out to this creator, I think our email is there as well. So you guys can just email us directly and send us your lust and love stories or anything along those lines. I think it'd be really great if we started talking about situations, because me and Natalie, we're kind of like free therapists, you know?
Free? Who said free?
Who said free? Well, not free.
Just kidding.
Maybe send a little pay link. You know? We take gift cards. No. Send us your stuff. We'll review it, and then we can be like, we can chat about it.
Yes.
And we also got a lot of subject matter experts in the phone, so if we need to, we might call them up and be like, so we're kind of thinking this. What are you thinking? And then they can be like, yeah, that's fucked up. You don't need me to tell you that. Oh, okay, well, we thought we'd get an expert opinion. You psychologist or something.
Right?
Would you say this person's a narcissist? Yeah. Yeah, I would. Okay, you heard it here first, folks.
Right?
So, like, comment, subscribe, check
Yes.
out for the next one. You never know where you're going to see us.
Yes.
Were you expecting this? No.
Yeah.
We might be in the CN Tower next.
Yeah.
You never really fucking know.
Ooh, that would be really cool. Until the next time.
Until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.